Welcome back, friends and scoundrels. I'm Bran. That's Lynn. Jinx. And that's Sarah.
Hi.
And today, Sarah is going to teach me how to play Mr. Jack. Produced by Hurricane Games, or at least this version was. Looking at Board Game Geek, there's like 6 publishers. Probably the world over, because I know that that's a thing that happens sometimes. But anyways, this is designed by Brauno, Cathala and Ludovic Maulanc, and the artist is Piero. So it's a 2-player game where one player is playing as Jack the Ripper, one of the most infamous, not one of the, probably the most infamous serial killer in world history, but not the first. There were plenty before him. The other player is playing as a detective. Well, even though he's not in the game, we'll say Aberforth. um, Other players playing as a detective trying to figure out who Jack the Ripper is. That's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward, fun, easy little game. So let's get to the table.
So, in this game, you are being Mr. Jack and you are trying to escape through one of these exits that are not cordoned off by the police, or get through round 8 without being caught.
Okay. So why is this set up this way?
This is the beginning setup from the rulebook.
So are there different scenarios?
Nope. So we've already got everything set up on the board as depicted in the rulebook. But other than that, we're going to shuffle these character cards, shuffle these alibi cards, and deal one to the player playing as Jack. Jack will look at it, and nobody else will get to see it. That's the character he is impersonating, and the invisible tile will be placed next to the board, visible side up. In this game, Jack is trying to escape through one of the exits not cordoned off by the police, or make it to round 8 without being caught. And the player playing the detective is trying to figure out who Jack is impersonating. In the round, we'll be drawing 4 of these cards and placing them in these slots. And then we'll be snake drafting them. On odd rounds, the detective will go first. The detective is yellow player. And on even rounds, Jack will go first. Jack, gray player.
Okay. So we're moving pieces?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you draft
Can we move these two?
No, it's...
These ones?
No, it's drafting.
Okay.
So, when you draft your card, you'll resolve it immediately and move it the indicated spaces and do the ability as follows. If it's got this symbol around it, it means it may be done instead of, may be done during, must be done before or after, and if it's just got an arrow before or after moving, and if it's just got an arrow pointing this way, must be done after moving. No, just an arrow pointing that way. Must be done after moving.
So most of the characters are mandatory power use, correct?
Yes.
And how many are not?
2. Miss Stealthy and Sir William Gold.
So those are the only 2 with optional powers. The other ones have to use their powers.
Yes. So, John Smith, before or after moving, he may move one of the lit gas lights to an unlit gaslight base.
Okay.
Inspector Lestrade, before or after moving, he moves one of these police cordon tokens to make it easier or harder for Jack to escape. Miss Stealthy, when she moves, she can move through buildings and unlit gas lights when normally you would not.
Okay.
And Sir William Gold, instead of moving, he may swap places with another character.
So, what is it that indicates that the move has to be done first?
It'll have 2 arrows if it can be done before or after, and 1 if it can only be done after. Because none can only be done beforehand.
Okay. So with these ones, she can move normally or move through a building, which is what makes it her power optional.
Yes.
And his is optional because he can either move normally or just swap places.
Yes.
Okay.
Additional movement rules. Manholes. If you stop on a manhole, you can use one of your movement points to move to another manhole space, but you do not have to move through the manhole. You can move through lit gas lights, but not unlit ones.
Why can't you move through unlit ones?
Because it's scary.
I don't know, you can't see, so you'll bump into the gas light. So at the end of the round, you'll tell me if your character is invisible or visible, which will help me determine who is innocent. You are visible if you are next to a lit gas light or another character, or lit up by Watson's lamp.
And how far does Watson's lamp see?
Watson's lamp sees in the direction of his arrow all the way across the board in a straight line.
Even through buildings?
No, not through buildings. You ready to play?
I suppose.
Before we begin, how about you show us who your secret character is if you want to play along with Saira. Look away now. All right, and now we can begin.
So, I'm going to go first because it is an on round. And I'm going to use John Smith because it can be used before or after. I'm going to move this gaslight over here. He does not have to be adjacent to it. It can be anywhere on the board. That's just the one I wanted to move. And then, because he has to move at least one space, and he can't end on the space he was on originally, he's gonna move here.
Then I take 2, right? Because we're
Yes.
drafting.
Yep.
Take him. Do I have to do them as I do this
Yes.
stuff as I do it?
You resolve it immediately after choosing your character.
So, think I'm going to swap places to take this Scarlet and move her 1, 2, 3 spaces.
That means I get Lestrade. And I'm gonna move this one over here. And move there. So that's the end of the round. And discard these characters. Remove what?
He has to say if he's visible or invisible first.
Right. Are you visible or invisible? You'll flip this token. So everybody who is visible is innocent. So Watson, Sherlock, Lestrade, Miss Stealthy are all innocent, so we'll flip them over to their gray side to indicate that. But they can still be moved in further play.
Okay.
Did you explain how the detective accuses Mr. Joe?
When I want to use a character of being Mr. J, I will move another character, it does not have to be an innocent one, on top of, and declare that I am confronting you. And if I'm right, I win. If I'm wrong, you win. Now that we've done that, we're going to move the round counter and remove Gaslight 1 for the rest of the game. John Smith cannot bring those back.
Take these 4.
Yep. It's your turn to draft first.
Explain this one's powers.
All right. So Sergeant Goodley.
He has 3 extra action points that can only be spent to move other characters toward him.
Okay.
As many as you want, up to 3.
Jeremy Burt.
He moves the manhole covers to make it easier or harder for Jack to escape.
Okay. Sherlock.
The player who drafts him gets to draw an alibi card. If you're the detective, you can use that secret information to help narrow down your options, or you can hide it from the detective.
And Watson.
After moving, you rotate him to face the direction you want, and it illuminates everything in a straight line up to an obstacle.
Okay.
Your turn to draft first.
How did moving through? You go through here, and I can pop up through anyone.
Yes, but it takes an action in point to do that.
A movement one.
A movement point, so it would be 1, 2.
So I'm gonna take Sergeant Goodley.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
What's Goodley's special power?
Can call other people to.
Must.
Oh, must. 2. Or how many spaces?
3.
3.
3 points. You can move 3 different characters. 1. You can move 1, 2.
Okay. 1, 2.
I'm gonna take Sherlock to secretly draw an alibi card. So if you're playing along with Jack, avert your gaze. And that is the alibi card I drew. Oh, it was supposed to be after moving. Okay. Then I'm gonna take Watson. And then rotate his lantern. So now Bert is visible. No, you have to do first.
Oh. Okay. I know what I'm not doing. That one.
Okay.
Declare Jack's visibility.
You are visible. So William Gola is innocent.
So do these ones stay?
Yes.
Okay.
So end of round 2. So we'll shuffle these. So we have our backpack. And this one we will get later. Alright, I get to draft first. I'm taking Strahd. Moving that there.
I'm gonna take Goodley. 1, 2, 3.
I called it, didn't I? 3rd round.
Yep. I figured that was it, but I didn't want to end it too soon.
You should have. You should have used Watson through the manhole, and
I know, that's what I was thinking.
we could have done.
It's been at Jack won round 3 every single time we've played.
Jack wins round 3.
Mm-hmm. And if you wanted it to go a little bit longer, obviously you wouldn't make that your first move as Jack. Just to cast a little bit more to it. The manholes really helps though.
The manholes do help.
And I suppose the lights, you can't travel through them because obviously Jack would want to travel through them.
So thoughts?
I'm not sure. It's fun, but it just goes too quick.
I don't know how I feel or think about it presently.
I kind of expected you to be disappointed.
I was expecting a lot more out of this game, that's for sure.
Also expected your disappointment.
I don't know what would help this a little bit. Maybe some more characters, like bringing Aberforth and some of the other people actually associated to the Jack the Ripper case.
I believe there are expansions, maybe, or other versions. I'm not really sure. I haven't looked into it because I didn't care for this.
Yeah. No, it's a pretty straightforward game. I mean, I don't really know what I had expected anyways, because it's been sitting on the shelf for so long. Been there, what, 6 months or so?
Oh, we've had this a year at least.
Have we?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, we did get it before we moved, didn't we?
yeah.
So it's been a year and a half. We moved last August. So,
I kind of expected a social deduction game, not a hidden movement.
It's because you didn't know what this was.
that would something that would make this easier if you did have a greater expansion. You actually played characters and randomly assigned somebody the Jack, and it was a social deduction. And if it was designed like over however many nights or whatever would be your rounds, and the murders happen, and you have to pick up clues in port. So I think a social deduction with this would be a little bit more fun in a way. But you don't like social deductions, so
I don't. It would also be an entirely different game and no longer Mystery Jack.
yeah, it wouldn't be this game. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, I don't know how you would, but if you enjoyed this, check out a video that is suggested, the video that's suggested, and subscribe and check out all the ways to support us down below. And until next time, live the roll. Oh, I missed.
Oh, named it up.
Roll.
10 points.
Live the roll.